Because I can tell you the people at Viacom didn't know what they had on MTV with us. So
that's what I want to get to. WSX, Wrestling Society X, short-lived, really made a lot of noise briefly because that was probably the height of my fandom. I'm 31, and I want to say this was 2007, 2006. In that period, I was probably 15, 16, so that was real height of my, teenage fandom, and I was super intrigued by it, but it was gone almost as quickly as it came. How did you first get involved with it, and what were your overall impressions of the concept?
well, I helped develop it. So Kevin Kleinrock and I have been friends for many years. He was my boss at XPW, which people are always shocked that I work there, but I did. I directed a lot of their stuff for about a year or two, while I also produced porn because that's what you had to do.
If
To
we have
get
time,
paid.
I'd definitely love to get into XPW talk too, but I don't know.
Well, if we don't, folks could look at the Rob Black Dark Side of the Ring. I'm in that, and I talk about it there. But Kevin had this idea, and I think the original concept of it was Black Label Society wrestling with the band. And then we'd be in like a speakeasy underground environment. And so Kevin and I shared an office at Big Vision Entertainment, where he was the vice president. Houston Curtis was the president, and he came from MTV as an executive producer and an executive at the network. And before that, he was with Funniest Videos and Vin DeBona Productions. And even before that, him and Rick Marr put out a Backyard Wrestling, the VHS and the video games. So they've always had this kind of grimy version of pro wrestling, and Kevin's interest was always like even lucha libre, how to make that more secular in the U.S. And today, if people know the name Kevin Kleinrock, he is the president of Masked Republic. So they're a big licensing and lucha libre management company. So a lot of the guys you'll see like Dragon Lee, they represent him and stuff like that. So, but at any rate, we shared a desk, and we were doing championship wrestling already on paper. Kevin came up with this concept that he wanted to do this Black Label Society in Houston, I believe. Said, well, we have connections at MTV. Let's go pitch it. And they did. And so I was involved from day one, and helped the project along, and agreed and disagreed with a lot of it. And I was a producer on the program, an agent, if you want to call it that. And I am one of the co-creators of Mac Classic.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. Very cool. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Kevin Kleinrock, we will hopefully be having a chat with him in a few months. It's still on the planning stages, but just like you, he's had a very fascinating career.
It's all his fault. And when you talk to him, you can quote me and say, David Marquez says it's all your fault.
I will absolutely do that just for the soundbite.